Was good. That was good. That was funny. That was funny. That
Should
was
I just jump out now, coach? Like that's the
uh,
high point.
pardon.
I was saying, should I just jump out now? I'm not going to top that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because it's funny you said that because that's just exactly what Kevin and I we just got done saying the exact same thing. Yeah. So all right, let's go. Let's do this.
I guess I'll start it off here, coach. You're just looking at Utah State. 7-game losing streak, no road wins this year. What's the first thing you think when you hear that?
Same thing. I think if they had a 7-game winning streak and won every game on the road, you got to show up and play. It doesn't all that stuff doesn't matter to me. I hope it doesn't matter to our team. You got to show up and play. They're Division I players. They're Division I athletes. They're a program that are prepping for us just like we're prepping for them. So you got to come in. You got to be focused, and you got to be ready to play.
I guess I'll go again here. For this, these are your last 2 series here. You're starting to see a lot more postponements going on. Is there almost an added intensity because every game could be the last?
No. I'm going to have to say no. I don't know. Let's change your word around, and let's not talk intensity. I'm going to say, is there a higher sense of anxiety? Possibly. Because I just think that now as you're getting closer to the end, and I think that anytime I'm going to say anytime something hits closer to home, and what I mean by that is obviously our team knows the men's team, is got their games were postponed. We're playing the same opponent, so does that cause some anxious feelings? Yeah, I would guess they're a little bit anxious about whether we're going to have a game, not have a game. There's been rumors about New Mexico all year with their men's side. So do the women hear that? Sure. So yeah, is there probably a little bit of anxiousness, from game to game or series to series? Yeah. But I think right now, as far as like we approached it, we're scheduled to play, and we'll approach it like that's going to happen, and that's just the way it is.
Gerald, after the CSU games in which you guys put yourself in position to make a bit of a run and even win that second one, you mentioned this team's got to learn how to finish. Where does that start? Learning how to finish off games, because it's happened a few times this year for you guys.
Well, they just have to keep working on it in practice. You try to put them into some pressure situations and try to get them to perform. But, it's just basically you have to understand as a player what the situation is, how hard you have to play down the end, and who has to make the plays and how you have to make the plays. You and I talked on the post-game show, what a big shot was when they just we went up 4. They knew what they wanted to do and who they wanted to get the ball in whose hands, and she performed, hit a big 3, and then performed down the line. And that's just some things we looked at film. As a team, you look at film. We looked at the last 4 minutes and 15 seconds of that game. And you're talking about here, where could we have got better? What's the situation maybe we should have looked for instead of the situation? And then you go out and try to practice it and hope it carries over.
Gerald, with the San Jose State series out, you've got quite a bit of time there. I mean, the 19th is your last game. Has there been any thought of you guys to adding some games, or do you guys need that mental break before the conference tournament?
We don't know what we're doing, to be honest with you. I mean, we're talking about a lot of things. Do we need 2 weeks off? No, we don't need 2 weeks off. I mean, that would definitely I think set us back some, but we're looking at some possibilities. But the problem is right now, like you said, everybody's at different stages of the season. We're going, well, we're just if, knock on wood, I'm gonna knock on wood again. You guys got me knocking on wood about 100 times here. If we get through this and we do end on time, The problem is a lot of the other teams that are around us, they're just finishing up also, and they're also trying to get in makeup games or some other things. So I don't know what's going to be the possibility of getting something in during that time. Now we're going to try to work on that. I think we're going to see, we're going to wait till next week a little bit and see, you know, exactly how this goes off with New Mexico and make sure we are on time. Because obviously if we do have one of these, a postponement, either still with this series or the next series, then we will need those weeks or those days to get those games in. So, you know, once again, it's just another COVID thing where, yeah, we have a whole bunch of irons in the fire, but we're not sure of anything. And this causes some more uncertainty. So yeah, long story short.
Coach, along those lines, I was going to say, how important are these next 4 games because of the fact you have such a long period that that you aren't scheduled to play anything before you get to the tournament?
Yeah, I think, you know, Tracy, I think every game's important. You know, we're out here playing, we're out here to win. I think it's important for us to finish strong. You know, we need to finish strong. We've been playing well at home. You know, I think we've played really well. I thought we played really well last week. I thought at CSU, I thought we put together 2 of our better games, to be honest with you. CSU is really, really good. They're a good team. They're coached well. You know, like I said, I thought we played well the first game, you know, well enough to give ourselves a chance. And then I thought on Saturday, we actually gave ourselves a chance to win. So I thought we played really well. I thought we played well against San Diego State. So, you know, I just want to keep growing that way in these last 4 games. You know, obviously you want to win, but you definitely want to keep going, you know, into the positive. And you're right. And what I'm kind of nervous about is we're doing what we wanted to do. And like you say, you know, you try to play well at the end. And like I said, knock on wood, we have been. But now if we keep improving and we go into a long layoff, I don't know what that's going to do or what that's going to look like for us.
Thank you.
Coach, going back to the CSU series, there was a significant scoring differential in the second quarter. I don't have the numbers in front of me because I'm an idiot, but can you pinpoint anything that went wrong in those second quarters?
No, we went back, looked at the second quarters. You know, they scored baskets. You know, I mean, it's the same. When you look at the second quarter, it's the same as the third quarter and even the fourth quarter. You know, they scored some baskets. Obviously, we had a couple of breakdowns. You know, in the second quarters, I think we held them. I don't have my stats either for that game, but I think they only made 5 threes or something like that in that game, and 3 of them came in that quarter. And all three of them were on defensive breakdowns where we missed what we were supposed to do. So right there's 9 points, you know, and then, you know, just, you know, sometimes things that work right then or work, you know, keep working later on. They just didn't seem to go for that quarter for whatever reason. Then once again, I just have to give them credit. You know, they made shots and, you know, that's sometimes how it goes. That's what the name of the game is.
Joe, what jumps out at you with Utah State coming up these next 2 games? What do they do well?
You know, I think that they're a lot like just the last couple of teams we played. They transition the ball. You know, and what causes people trouble and what's happened I'm going to say here in recent years, and it also applies to us, is they're a team, and I'm always going to call it a non-traditional transition, because what they do is they can have multiple people bring the ball up. And, you know, we do that also. You know, we can have from our 1 to our 4 bring the ball up in transition. And depending on what your defensive transition philosophies are, sometimes that can cause you problems, because maybe all of a sudden the 4's pushing the ball up, and you got in our case, we'd have our point guard, which is starting would be Tommy, you know, picking up the ball in transition. And, you know, right there, then you got 3 perimeter players. Now you got your 4 trying to pick up another perimeter player, given your rules. So anytime teams have that ability to have multiple people bring the ball up, I think in transition, you have a chance to to have some errors and to miss some things. And, and I think the other thing that they do well that, we've been working on is, they run a couple of sets that can put you in bind with the number of back screens and stuff. I'm going to say the number of times they swing the ball back and forth to get you into a mismatch with some back screens. So, we'll work on those sets and see if we can get some recognition and work on defensive transition and hope we can get that stuff taken care of.
Coach, do you feel like this season has like aged you at all?
Do I look aged? I mean, Sean, we've talked about this. We've talked about this a lot this year, and I'm not the only coach because I often wonder, am I the one, is it just me? And, when I talk to even coaches that are younger that I know, and they go, this season has just seemed long. It's just been hard and has it aged me? It's worn on me. Let's put it that way. I mean, I don't know. Age is age. But it's a mental challenge. It's every day. I mean, just like you guys said, you hear this, you talk to somebody and their games are getting canceled or postponed and you're going, oh, can we just get through, it's just a lot of things, but basketball. And I think, I'm just going to say once again, to our team's credit, to our women that are out there every day, I have to take my hats off to them because I know if it's been this hard on me, and our staff was talking about it yesterday, the staff feels the same way, and if it's that hard on them, how hard it has to be on our team because they're putting academics on their plate on top of everything, with school starting again, and these guys are talking about classes. Let's face it, they're talking about taking classes you and I never took. I mean, they're saying they're talking about all these things and the stress they have of that now. The stress of taking those classes online, but needing to have, some help from somebody, but who's around to help you. And then, like I said, from eating box lunches, yeah, it's been long, I think, on all of us. And, you're just getting through it. And I give them all the credit in the world because now I'm a jinx myself. I know I'm knock on wood again. This team for the number of games that we've had, obviously we haven't won all of our games, but they've shown up every game and have played extremely hard. And I know, Keith's on here and, Keith, I think can attest to that, we didn't always play great offensively or we missed some things, but what this team has done is there's not been one game where we could walk away and go, well, we lost a day of lack of effort. And that's a credit to those individuals.
Along those lines, Coach, I mean, not to get too far in a reflective period, but I mean, how much does that encourage you for the next season when you don't have to deal with a lot of this BS?
Well, yeah. And like I said, I think our group, our young players are getting better and better. I think you see Ola, hitting some big shots, starting to understand what it takes to play at this level. Marta the same. I really like what we got going in our group of players. And I believe the future is bright. It's just going to be, I hope next year's better. You talk about vaccines, you talk about everything that's going on. And then somebody says, well, it might be until the end of summer, till somebody's vaccinated, and so on and so forth. So, like you said, without getting all whatever, I do like this group. And I think we've done what we needed to do. We're getting better. And, the question that you guys brought to me a lot was, well, does this team or have we figured out yet who we are? I think we are starting to figure out who we are. I think we're at that stage where, like a McKinley Bradshaw is really, really comfortable with who she is and what her role is, but yet she's getting better and better defensively, and she's understanding to be more aggressive offensively. I think Jay Johnson has become one of the better individual defenders on our team, and she's stepped up and she's accepted that role. It's almost now where they can look up at the clock as the game's running and they go, okay, we're into our rotations of subs, and they know, who's going in and what's expected of them at that time. And so, I really like where we've gone. And like I said, over the next 4 games, I hope we just continue to improve, and then somehow try to keep that edge until the tournament comes about.
That's all I got, Coach.
All right. Anybody else?
I'm good, G. Thanks.
All right. All right. Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right, have a good one, Coach.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks, Kevin.